I like to listen to podcasts on my way to work. I've got a 20-minute commute, so that's 40 minutes out of my day, whereas I used to just listen to the radio. But I thought, I'm going to start listening to some podcasts, and one of the podcasts I've been listening to recently is from a guy called James Altucher. I've mentioned him before on some of the previous vlogs, and one of his podcasts really kind of hit me. I took a lot away from it, and I wanted to share that with you because you may not be familiar with either James or his guest. His guest on this particular episode, which I'm going to link below, is a guy called Jon Morrow. He's a 34-year-old entrepreneur, but what makes Jon unique is that he was born with a disease, a motor neuron disease. I think it's called spinal muscular atrophy. Basically, what I gather from the podcast is he doesn't get enough protein to his motor neurons for them to replenish, so his motor neurons just die off. And this has caused him to be quadriplegic since childhood. That's where you can't move anything below the neck. And I just found this a very, very inspirational story. And some really great takeaways in there. Because one of the things he talks about is being obviously disabled, was that he was reliant on the welfare system, and I think it was Medicare in the US, to cover all his medical expenses and bills. And the problem with him wanting to go and become an entrepreneur and make money on the side was that any money that he'd make would just be taken away from him, or he'd lose his care benefits. So this was a bit of a bind for him. And I think a lot of other people who maybe are on benefits in this country, or just regular not housing, employment benefits, they probably feel that way too. Like, they may want to go and work and earn some stuff on the side, but they think, they make the calculation, if I do that, then I'm just going to lose my benefits. And that's too much of a risk. It's too risky for me to do that. So what Jon did was he started writing for these very popular blogs on, I think, website optimization and website design, something to do with that, blogging. He started writing for these very top blogs that he didn't own, but he just started writing for them for free. And he said, I'll write for you for free in exchange, but down the line I'm going to want a favour, and I want to be able to rely on you to be able to come through and deliver this favour for me. And they agreed to it. So he was writing for years like this. And then it got to the point where he decided he wanted to start his own company. So he relocated to Mexico to dramatically reduce his healthcare costs, and then he called in his favours from these blogs, and he got them to send out an email, like an advertisement, to all of these blogs' email lists, and after that he got many clients from that, and he built his business from there and developed online courses. But some other things from this podcast that really blew me away was he talked about how, he had many struggles growing up. He had some problems with his lungs because it made something to do with pneumonia, where his lungs would fill and he didn't have the strength to actually cough, so his mum had to resuscitate him, pound on his chest, do CPR to get him to breathe, and she actually pushed so hard that she broke his ribs, and just God, I couldn't imagine going through that and all the struggles, but he's actually managed to do it. And for anybody struggling to create their own business or do something, just the fact that somebody who is faced with such enormous challenges like that not being able to use his hands to do mouse, have to do everything like with his face and using technology. I mean, it's just amazing. But one of the things he also said was that he would listen to podcasts for like 5 or 6 hours a day, of these really inspirational people who did great and massive things. And he said that doing this helped him get himself out of his own situation, out of his own life, made him believe that there was more possible, that he could do this, that these extraordinary people doing these incredible things, that this was like normal. And this was like his standard that he was comparing himself to. Whereas he says, like, a lot of people, if you suffer from a major disability, a lot of people don't really expect anything from you. And so the people tend to just lose that sense of ambition and expectations, and they just kind of resign themselves to the fate that they've got, and they just kind of eke out a meager existence. Now, I said at the start of the video that Jon is 34 years old, and that doesn't sound like very old, but for people with his condition, he's like one of the oldest people around, and certainly one of the oldest who can breathe without the assistance of a ventilator. So, just that was one podcast that just absolutely rocked my socks off, and I wanted to share that with you. And like I said, check out the full link because he's going to explain it a lot better than I can, and there's a lot of other cool information and some good stories in there, so I encourage you to check that out. Also, my second piece of content that absolutely stood out to me I came across this last night, and it was recommended to me by a YouTuber called Techno on here, and he mentioned about this site, or this guy who goes by the name Beeple, Beeple. He's a graphics designer, but what's unique and special about him is he has done and uploaded an illustration every single day for over 10 years. I think it's 3,677 consecutive days where every single day he's uploaded an image to his website, for practice and all sorts. But I just think that is insane, the commitment and the dedication to your craft and your art, to sit down and do something every day for over 10 years without missing a single day is ridiculous. And I'm going to put his website in the link in the description, in the description below, and you can go check out some of his artwork. Some of it's really, really nice. You can tell he's very talented, and he's very accomplished. He's very skillful, so the practice is definitely paid off for him. Just how can you use these kind of two really inspirational things in your own life? Like working for free, working and doing services for companies or websites that already have an established audience, because these websites that have a huge traffic and a large audience, they have the audience. So if you want an audience, go to where the audience is. I guess that's why Facebook and Google and stuff, where they make so much on advertising, because that's where the audience is, and people have to go and pay to grab a little bit of that audience. So that's on the one hand. Also, daily practice, which is another thing James Altucher recommends a lot, and obviously has been exemplified by this character Beeple. So yeah, that's all for today's vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you took anything away from this video, leave a comment down below telling me what your number one takeaway from this video. It just shows me that you're watching my content and you're finding some value in it. You also feel free to critique anything in this video, and yeah, I'm open to hearing what you have to say. Throw a like on if it's something you've enjoyed, and I can make some more videos like this, maybe shouting out information and websites and people who've really had a bit of an impact on me. I've learned something new, because that's what's really great about this platform, is the ability to share what's on your mind and things that matter to you. So thank you for your continued support. I'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's daily upload. Bye for now.